Hi everyone, it's Tanya. I know it's been a while since I did a video, but I have a really special one today. We are going to make these honeycomb snowman and woman ornaments. So let's talk a little bit about what you're going to need to create these. So let's start with the snowman faces. What I use for mine is this Anna Griffin Snow People 3-dimensional sticker set. And this came with a ton of vintage snowmen in it. And I just went through and picked out the ones that was just the heads of the snowman. Of course, you could cut the heads off the other ones if you really like one of those to use. But it's like 2 different boys and 2 different girls that are just heads. So that's what I took out the box to use today. And for today, I'm going to be using this one here and this one. Now let's talk about this for a second. If you don't have these, because these did come out, I believe it was 2 years ago. So I don't think they're still available. If they are, I'd say grab them because they're adorable. But if you do not have these, you could definitely go online and get some vintage snowman clip art and print that out and cut it out. You could use stamps. You could use dies. If you have like a Cricut or a Brothers Scan and Cut, maybe check on there for snowman images. I checked Cricut Design Space last night and they have a ton. So if you have a Cricut, you could definitely print and cut some from there, which will work. You could probably find stickers. Use old greeting cards. Just use what you have. So anyway, that's those. You are going to need some pipe cleaners or something for the arms. And I just use little white pipe cleaners, but you could use twigs, toothpicks, whatever you want to use for your arms, go for it. For the bottom here, the honeycomb part, I just used vellum. And you can, again, use what you want to use. I use vellum because I felt like the light would probably still shine through it on the tree. But you could definitely probably use paper bags if you have it. You could use thin scrapbook paper. You could use just printer paper. Whatever you have. I would say that I don't think the thicker scrapbook paper is going to work. You definitely need something that's kind of thin, like this, but you could give it a try. I have not tried it, so if you tried it and it works, let me know. Also, I have a bunch of different embellishments out, some like pom-poms and some little half pearls and things that I may use on the other ones. That's completely optional for you. You are going to need some wire, because that's how I got the head down through here. To stay is use some wire. Again, a toothpick would probably work. You could probably use that. Some other things, let's see. I want to make sure I go through everything. You're going to definitely need some glue. I use the Barely Art Precision Glue. It dries clear. It dries fast. It worked perfectly for these. And you're definitely going to need a glue gun. Let's see. Of course, you're going to need like regular crafting supplies, scissors, wire cutters, pliers, a hole punch, those type things. But now for my circles, I used a 1 1/4 inch circle punch. Now, you don't have to have this punch. If you have a Cricut, you could cut out all the circles you need probably of one pass of the Cricut. I have a Cricut, but I chose to use this because this was the exact size I needed, and I could just sit and do it while I was watching TV with my husband. But you could definitely use a Cricut. You could use a die. You could trace something around your house to make the circle. For a template, you could probably print one off the internet. I mean, there's so many ways to get a circle. So definitely, I mean, you don't have to have this, but this is what I used. So now I think we went through just about everything we need to create these. So let's start making them. Now, to start making these, I punched out 30 circles from vellum. And the 30 circles were for this one here. The tighter honeycomb bottom has 30 circles. Now for the one that's more open, like this, I only use 15 circles. So depending on which one of these you like better, which style of bottom you like better, is how many you're going to need, 30 or 15. Also, for each snowman, I punched out one black circle for the bottom. And you can skip this part if you want. It's not necessarily there for a reason other than I like that it makes it stand up and makes it look a little more finished. It also hides the wire that comes through the bottom that's holding his head on. So, you will need those if you choose to use those. Let's see. I also cut an extra one of these out, and you only need one extra one. And that's what I use to make my template, because when making these, the more precise you are with where your glue goes, the better your honeycomb is going to look. So what I did is I took one of these and we just folded in half like this. So you get a half circle. Then you're going to fold it in half again like this. So then you have it's folded into 4. Then you're going to kind of open it up and you're going to fold this part here, this side, over to meet this line here. Like that. And you make sure you crease it good. You can use a bone folder, but it's in my hands. It's just easier to use my fingernail. And then you're going to fold this one in the same and make a crease there. And this is another thing I like about using the vellum. The creases really show up in this. So then when you open it, it should look like this here. Now the next thing I did, and I already made mine, so I'm just going to show you. I just stuck it on some Post-it notes and glued it down. I just glued this down to here, like this. And then I took a ruler and I used a red pen. You can use whatever pen you have. And I just marked the line going down, the center line, and the top and bottom line so that I could see them better. And this is going to be your template. And I like the fact that it's on this Post-it note because it holds it down onto my table a little bit better. Okay, so now what you're going to do is you're going to take all of your circles you cut out and you're just going to fold them in half. Just like this. So I'm not going to do all of them at one time on here because that would take forever. But I'm just going to show you. We're going to do a few. And you just fold them in half like that. Okay, now that we have our circles folded in half, you're going to take your circle and you're going to open it up. And the line that's going down, you're going to line up with the one on your template like this. Take your glue. And you are going to just go right across here like that. And then you're going to close it up. Now, it doesn't matter if the glue shows because as you can see with these, you do not see the glue at all. That one may have gotten a little too much glue, but that's okay. Okay, so here we go again. You're just going to follow that center line, just like that. And I marked it mine with a C for center, so you could see it better. And there you go. You're just going to fold it in half. And you're going to continue to do this until you get all of the ones that you need for your honeycomb done. So either 15 or the 30, just depending on which one you're going to do. And if your line gets a little wonky, it's okay, but try to keep it as straight as possible. I'm doing this on camera, so it's a little bit harder for me to keep it perfect. Okay, so once you have all of your circles glued together, The next thing you're going to do is you're going to put it back onto your template like this. And I just hold it down with my finger. And now you're going to do the top and the bottom line. So you're going to run a line of glue at the top and bottom. And then you're just going to place 2 of your half circles together like this. And then you're going to continue to do this. Until you have all of them together. Now I like to do this part in smaller batches, so I'll do like for the 31 I did 3 stacks of 10, and for the 15 one I did 3 stacks of 5. And then once I got all 3 stacks done, I then glued those together the same way. It just makes it a little easier with gluing them to do it that way for me. And then once I've got all these glued together, each stack, I took my reverse tweezers and just kind of did it like that to let it dry a little bit. And then once I got them all glued together, I then did the same thing with the reverse tweezers, stacked them all together and let them dry. Now that we've let those dry, I can take my reverse tweezers off. I already did the one for the 30. This is the 15. And you see that you have this cute little honeycomb. Now what I like to do is I take my reverse tweezers and kind of separate these 2 pieces here so that I can get a hold of them for gluing a little better. Plus it shows me where I need to put the glue. Now you could easily put it back down on your template for the glue for this part, but for me, I just like to use these and mark it. It works out perfectly fine that way. So I'm going to let my glue gun heat up, and we'll be right back to glue these together. Okay, now my glue gun is heated up. You bring it over here. So what we're going to do is just place 2 lines of glue. And again, like I said, if you want, you can definitely put it back on your template like this. See, I'm trying to get it so it stays down. It keeps trying to pop up now. And you can run your glue on it. Oh, I don't want that big glob of glue right there. I find the glue gun works best for this part here because it holds so much faster. And then you're just going to press that together and hold it. I, again, have some reverse tweezers here, so I'm going to try to, well, I may not need it. Looks like it's stuck. You want to get all those glue strands off for sure. I think we are good. Doesn't look like I'm going to need to use these. But let me give that a little squeeze right there. So, okay, we didn't need that. And again, you can do the same thing for this one, or you can just kind of eyeball where your glue needs to go, which is what I'm doing with this one because I'm pretty... I have made several now. I kind of don't do what I just did. Do not burn yourself. Okay, let's see. That has already started to dry. So let's put a little more glue there. Now, if you really wanted to, you could glue these whole 2 pieces together, but I prefer to kind of keep it going the way it was. Okay, let's see. Yeah, that's stuck. So, again, we're not going to need the tweezers, I don't think. We are going to fluff it a little bit by doing this. And I'm just running around through my fingers like this to fluff it out a little bit. Make sure it all kind of evens out. There you have the one. This is the one that used 30. And here's the one that used the 15. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a couple pieces of wire. And again, I don't measure this. I just kind of eyeball it. But if you want to figure out what measurements you want to use for yours, go for it. Because I can easily cut off anything I don't need. And I do cut them slightly longer than I think I'm going to need. Okay, so you can't see that wire on that black. And then I'm going to pull out the two that I'm going to use here. So I'm going to use this girl one on this one here. And for her, let's see. I think I'm going to trim off the bow, but I'm going to save it because I'm still going to use it. So I'm just going to kind of fussy cut this bow off. Oops. I am having a terrible time holding this bow in my hand. Okay. So I'm just going to kind of fussy cut that a little bit. And I'm going to trim up and make this look nice up under here. Like that. Now these have a foam in the center. So what I'm doing is just running this straight down through the foam. If yours does not have a foam in the center, you can just glue it to the back like this. Or you could cut out a piece of paper to cover this, however you want to do it. So let's see if we can get this down through here. I need it to go straight. There we go. Now before I take that all the way down through there, I just take some little pliers and kind of crimp it so it doesn't slide through there. And at this point, if you want to add a little hot glue to that so it sticks and doesn't come out, also is a little security for you. And just, oops, just trying to go behind it. There you go. So we got that in there. And then I'm just going to straighten that out a little bit like that. And then, as you can see, there's a little hole in there. We're going to run that down through there like that. Now, before I put it all the way down in there, I'm going to take a little bit of hot glue and just put right there where the hole is. And then pull it down. Remove any glue strands. We don't want those glue strands on there. And I'm just going to make sure that's nice and dry before I go any further. Okay. Now this is way too much wire. Like I said, I did not measure. So I'm going to cut that off. And I'm just going to... I've got glue stuck to my hand and tweezers and everything over here. So I'm just going to do this. And then I'm going to fold it over like that. And now I'm going to take my little black circle. And I'm going to put some glue on the bottom of this. And just stand her up right in the center of my black circle, like this. Try and get her centered. Hold her so she dries straight. Make sure she's not going to tip over. I think these would be so cute, not just as ornaments, but tied onto packages. How cute would that be tied onto a package? So here's what we have so far. Next, I'm going to add her little bow back. So for this, I'm just going to use some hot glue, and we'll put a little bit on the back of my bow here. And we're just going to stick that right there, like that. And I'm going to take this extra wire to grab these hot glue strands. And you can take your heat gun and get rid of these glue strands too. I cannot stand these glue strands, so I try to take care of them as I go. Okay, so there's that one. And we're going to do some embellishments on her, but we're going to do the other one first, and then we'll embellish them both. Okay, now we're going to go to this little guy. Oh, we also still need to add her arms. Now we're going to go to this little guy here, and he's wearing this cute little scarf. And again, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of peel it back just a tiny bit so I can see. And I am going to fussy cut out around his scarf. And then we'll add that back. Again, we're going to take the wire. We're going to go straight down through the center. Like this. If I can get this one to go in. It's being difficult here. Okay. Again, we're going to twist it. This. Add some glue. And that got up there. We don't want that there. Okay. We're going to run this right down the middle again. Like that. Let's see here. Let's make that the front side. Pop that little bit of glue right here. Oh, I am just fighting with these glue strands. They're sticking to me everywhere. Okay, so for this, I'm going to kind of bend this just slightly. So it bends like this. And then we can put it up here. And I feel like I'm going to cut this end right here off because I feel like it's too much there. Let's try it. Yeah, that's perfect. So I'm not going to put glue on this whole bottom part. I'm going to do just glue here and like right down the center. So I'm going to do here and here. Press it down, hold it for a second, and that's how it's trying to pop up. And you could have put this scarf to the side if you wanted to, however you want it to do it. I kind of like it like this. I'm just going to bend that piece down a little bit more. I'm going to pop a teeny bit of glue here. And then press that down. It's trying not to stick right there. I love the face on this one. He's got the cute little pine cone eyebrows. So cute. Okay, now got that done. I'm going to again trim off this bottom wire. And twist it. Somehow there's a glue strand over there. Okay. And get our little circle here. Throw some glue on that. And we're going to pop him right in the center. I was thinking these would also be super cute as like, if you were doing like a dinner having a dinner party, you could use them as place card holders. Set one at each of your place settings. How cute would that be? Okay, let's add their arms. So for these arms, I already twisted the little hands in. I'm going to do the same thing for these. I just grab the end and just twist it in. And these may be a little longer than I want. If so, I will have to cut them down. Let's check them out. That's pretty long. Let's cut this set down a little bit. Just going to use my wire cutters here. I'm thinking right there will be good. Let's try these. I think these are probably going to need to be cut down as well. So we'll go ahead and do that. Now,
motion detected at the mailbox.
I'm just going to take a little glue, stick it on the end, and then up here, I'll try to get it in there. And let's see, we want to get in this one here. There we go. This one I'm going to bend first. And let's see, let me put this one here. Let's give this little guy a super cute candy cane. And this is from the Tim Holtz Ideology Collection confectionaries. So I just twisted his hand a little bit to fit that in there. I want to glue it. So let's try to get a teeny bit of hot glue down in there. Not too much. And get that back on there like that. And then I'm just going to kind of twist that pipe cleaner back around it. Like that. Let's see if I can get it turned a little bit like that. There you go. That is so cute. I'm holding the little candy cane. Okay. For her, I was thinking maybe some cute little pom-poms down the front. So I think I'm going to do, see, one here. We'll do one here. That one went over a little too far. Let's get it back where we want it. Like that. There we go. Do I want to do any buttons on him? Maybe so. So for the buttons, I think I'm going to use, I don't know. I've got these, which might be cute. Let's see. Oh yeah, that would be cute. Let's get another one of them out. And this is just a shaker mix to make it easier to put this on. I'm going to grab this. Okay, so let's see. I think we may need to do, we may only get one on here. A little glue right there. Just pick this up. Do we want to do a second one? No, I think we'll just do one. Now, I'm thinking, do we want to let her be holding a candy? Maybe this, because I feel like these two kind of go together. So, should we let this little one be holding the candy? I think so. Okay, let's give her candy. We're going to go with the red one. There we go. Final thing we need to do is for these two we just made is to add the string. So I just use my crocodile on the smallest hole punch, and I just kind of, not gonna lie, eyeballed it and punch a hole. Here I'm just adding the string to where I punched the holes and tying a bow with the leftover at the top. And there you have it. There's this little guy. And like I said, you can embellish these any way you want. I love the pom-poms and the pipe cleaners. It does remind me of like the old decorations that it had on paper and pipe cleaners and things. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please like, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. And as always, make sure you do something creative today. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day.